Alright, welcome back to the SuperCoach Nuff channel. In this video, we're going to do our Game Week 1 preview slash final team reveal for the 2025-26 SuperCoach EPL season. So only a couple of days until kickoff at the time of recording, with the Friday night slash Saturday morning game, Liverpool and Bournemouth. So let's get cracking and put in our final starting team. So I guess the first thing you will notice is we have gone with the 3-5-2 formation, or sorry, 2-5-3 I should say, to use the correct terminology. Pretty keen to just run two defenders and have all the attacking assets available. So in goal, we're not going to spend too much money. The first one I think is pretty obvious. 28% owned, James Trafford. You know, if you can get the number one at a top 6 club, and let's be honest, probably a top 3 club in Man City, for such little money, you absolutely take that every day of the week. And the other goalkeeper, our backup, will be Petrovic at Bournemouth. Obviously not a great matchup game week 1, but looks absolutely nailed on. Bournemouth, decent sort of mid-table club, so he definitely will get some clean sheets and save points and all those sorts of good things, so he will make us a little bit of cash. So in defence, obviously we're not spending a lot of money if we're only starting 2 defenders. So the first defender may be a little bit controversial, but we're going with Jeremy Frimpong. So it looks like Connor Bradley's got a little bit of an injury, so I think Frimpong gets good game time to start and gives us a good opportunity to see if he can increase on that value. So 41% owned, so I think this is a very popular pick, somewhat protecting ourselves there. After that, we are going pretty cheap. So scroll. Can't remember their prices, which isn't ideal. I think he's 3.75. Yeah, so going with Diouf at West Ham as our other starter. So playing a wing-back role, which is always nice for potential attacking stats. West Ham, not the worst defensive team. Nice fixture in particular, first up against Sunderland. And obviously the price point is pretty nice as well. After that, we're going to go with a couple of cheapies with Roden, Hoover, and I think the third one I've lost. No, there he is, Truffett. So obviously, again, Bournemouth not the best fixture first up. Neither does Wolves against Man City. But I have been talked into getting a bit of the Leeds defence. Apparently, they have pretty good fixtures. Not the worst team in terms of defence coming up from the Championship, but it's mostly that price point is pretty nice. If I could have got Bogle at the same price, I probably would have taken him. Just again that more wing back type role, but we'll take Roden, nice and cheap. So then in the midfield, we're going with Palmer as our premium option. 12.7 mil. It's a lot to pay, but he is a season-long keeper, injury pending. And, you know, we're not too sure who's going to stand out in the midfield just at the moment. Maybe Fernandez after the fixtures sort of swing Man United's way. You know, Madison's injured. If he moved to Arsenal, probably would be a bit of a risk of minutes. I mean, Bowen potentially, but we'll have a look at how he fits in at West Ham. So, you know, we'll just take the easy option and go with Palmer. After that, I'm going with my guy Minter at Brighton. He's sort of my shout for a bit of a differential pick, to use the fantasy Premier League terminology. I guess we call them pods in Supercoach. Um, as you can see, 1% owned, but pretty attacking sort of bloke at Brighton. Um, can score a goal, so just needs the minutes. So we're locking him in. Um, the next player is a Man City midfielder. Um, and with Rodri seemingly out for the first few weeks, we're going with Reinders was from AC Milan, has come across. So nice starting price of 6.5. It looks like he could play a bit more of the advanced central midfielder role with Gundogan and Bernardo Silva sort of sitting in behind him. So I think he is a decent shout to make a little bit of cash to start the season. Next on the list, we're going to Spurs and Saar, who looks like he is replacing Madison in that sort of number 10 role at Spurs. At the price, it would be great if he did. But even if he's playing as a slightly deeper midfielder, he does sort of price comparatively well to Bergvall, who's expected to start. Uh, Benton calls a little bit more expensive, so we'll split the difference and we'll take Saar. And then the final midfield pick, 3.9. So we're going with Dewsbury Hall, who's come across from Leicester to Everton. Looks like he is again playing that more advanced midfielder role. So at 3.9 million, I think is a pretty good option to start the season. And obviously, when Rodri comes in, we can always move back to him. So not a lot of money spent so far, and that's because we're going big up front. So we are going Mo Salah. We are going with Gyökeres, who I've been pretty keen on, but we do have the funds to go Erling Haaland as well. So obviously not a lot of value in the forward line in terms of we're going the big hitters, but we do have limited trades. So the way I'm looking at this is if we can lock these three guys in, obviously injuries we will need to trade, but we can have these three guys scoring goals, doing great things. Top three clubs, probably the main men there. Um, so captaincy options along with Palmer, obviously. So we can mix and match, and then it'll just be trying to cycle our way up through the rest of the squad. So hopefully Frimpong is a keeper. In a dream world, Minter will be pretty much a keeper too. So Juve could potentially be a keeper. Trafford, we probably won't really trade keepers unless we have to. So, it's just cycling through these few midfielders, these cheap defenders to try and build some squad budget. But we are open and flexible to change. If there's a cheap forward who's scored a couple of goals early, we might take advantage of the cash boost and trade them in. But that's sort of the ideal world plan is, you know, load up on guns and cheapies as much as we can. So I better save that team since I started from the beginning. So captain, vice captain, because I'm hoping everyone plays. I'm not going to muck around with the VC Salah sort of thing. I'm just going to lock him in as captain. And because I've got Haaland now, I'll probably go him as vice captain. Against Wolves, it's a nice matchup. Um, you know, Palmer against Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace aren't the worst defence going around. Um, Gyökeres up against Man United. Again, we'll have a bit of a look at how he goes. So we'll just stick with the tried and true to begin with. And as I said, go on the 2-5-3 formation. So pretty keen to see if that pans out. But yeah, that's I guess all we were going to cover in this video. Maybe just a quick shout out for the Open League. There's still spots available. So the code there 337939. I will throw it in the description below this video as well. But we've got a couple of head-to-head leagues, which is going to be pretty fun. You've got the Podmasters stuff as well. Um, Pretty sure I've put that stuff in a post on YouTube, so check that out. But yeah, that's about it. So, as always, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to add them below this video. Give us a like if you enjoy the EPL content. Subscribe for all the fantasy sports content on the channel. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.